This is David Smoak's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
It is week number 8 of the Texas high school football season. You know what that means? That the first week in November is the last week of the regular season. Some teams probably know they're not going to make the playoffs unless they make a hell of a run. And then some teams are in a position to make sure that they get the best seed, maybe host a game as they get ready for a playoff run. That second week, starting the second week in November. Here are some of the best games or wins of last week. By the way, David Smoak with you and the weekly high school football podcast, Smoaky.com and 365 Sports. And Garrett Ross, as always, here with me. He loves high school football too, and so he's here with me on the show. Midway beat Temple last week at home. In the history of all of those schools, Midway's a younger school. They opened up back, I think, in 1947. Temple's been playing for well over 120 years. But they have only played each other 10 times because Temple was usually a larger school. Midway was on their way up the ladder with population enrollment. But they've played 10 times, all of that since 2012. And they've been in the same district a lot. Midway against Temple, one of the most successful programs in history at Texas high school football. Midway's won 9 of the 10 games. 9 of 10, including 27-7. Duncanville beat DeSoto 48-28. C.E. King over Shadow Creek last week, 42-28. Terrell, this is a good story at Terrell. Coach Sedbury Jr. beat Midlothian Heritage, the district favorite, 21-14. And I saw this one other game I went, Decatur scored 83, I think it was, against Fort Worth Diamond Hill Jarvis. That same night, it was a Thursday night, Dangerfield put up 82 against Queen City. Pretty amazing. I thought the biggest win might have been Forney beating Longview 28-24 as a nice win for the Jackrabbits. So there we are with that. Now, Mount Enterprise beat Grapeland 68-50, another one of those shootouts. And this is what that meant to Kagan Ash. Remember, we've been keeping up with him. So he had 417 yards rushing. He also scored 7 touchdowns on the ground and also a kick return. So what does that do for him? He now moves to number 7 all time in the history of this state, this great state of high school football. He passed Robert Strait, Jaquiz Rogers, Buddy Hanson, and Trey Williams. All of them are in the 8,000-yard range. He now is 12 yards away from the great Rodney Thomas. All these guys could be the great this and that. That's how much he is on his way if he stays healthy. Hope he does. And as even his coach, Scott Ponder, told me, sometimes those games that they play get into a blowout pretty quickly, so he doesn't get many carries. But 417 yards, 8 touchdowns, one of them a kick return. There's the top of the list. You see the legendary and Kenneth Hull, Jonathan Gray, Traylon Shedd. I covered him. And then on his radar, he could be his first carry when they play Friday with Rodney Thomas and this Wes Danaher, most likely. Although, if he was to get 400 yards this week, and I'm not saying he's going to, he would be like right behind number 5 all time. So just want to keep up with that. Now, Garrett also put together this graphic. All-time career points scored because he scored 54. Remember Ryland Morris, the Stanford commit at Honey Grove, scored 52 the other 2-3 weeks ago? 54 points from Kagan Ash, 8 touchdowns, 4 2-point conversions. He is now number 3 all time, and he's a sneeze away from passing Kenneth Hall. Got a long way to go to get to Jonathan Gray, the former Alito star, went to Texas. Kagan Ash at 896, and the number of touchdowns are at the bottom of that graphic. Also, Caden Carpini at Dimmitt, 479 yards on 40 carries, scored 7 touchdowns, passed for 134 in a win against Tulia in a game last weekend. I cover Midway football. I cover all of Texas if I try to, but I do broadcast for Midway football. I have seen some of the best running backs in the history of this state. I mentioned I'd seen Jonathan Gray in person, Cedric Benson in person, Rodney Thomas in person, Adrian Peterson in person. Name them, I've seen them, because of the fact I've been covering the sport for 45 years. I'm not trying to compare Lathan Wissington of Midway to any of them yet. But this is a junior who is big, he is strong, he is powerful, he has incredible balance and vision. Here are a couple of highlights.
This is Wissington, right side. Lathan's gone.
Get it.
30. Forget about it. 4's gone. Touchdown. Lathan never got
anywhere
touched.
he wants. 58 yards. He shows his speed and the huge hole, of course, as well. Now watch the power here
to put this one
on
away.
this next run.
Wissington,
this is
side,
dynamic.
Breaks a tackle,
1, 2, 3,
spins.
carry,
He's
up,
not
4,
down. Lathan,
5, still not down. Finally tackled at the 1-yard line in a game against Shoemaker. Eventually, Jaden Fields, Vaughn, the running back, the sophomore, who's more of just a pure quick and speed guy. Great offset. They scored on that play. He is so good. I wanted to highlight him as he's not putting up huge numbers because he didn't get a lot of carries, but he's had 160, 180, 170, and Midway 6-1 as they hit the break. Case Evans, quarterback at Lexington High School. He was committed to Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy fired. Case Evans visits Ames, Iowa, announces he's committed to Matt Campbell and the Cyclones. Good for Case Evans. Proud of him. And then Riley Dodge, who we featured on this podcast for a couple of years. His father, Todd, of course, one of the great coaches of all time, and his son is on his way to that same thing. How about this? 100 career wins in 109 games. I can do the math on that. 109. That's his record. 5 undefeated regular seasons, 53-1 district record, 4 district titles, a playoff record of 27-7. They have been knocking on the door year after year, and they have been really good. They've got a heck of a team. 5 times they've been to the semifinals. Congratulations to a hell of a young man, hell of a quarterback under his father at South Lake Carroll, and now 100 career wins in just 109 career games. So there we are with a lot of the historical parts, what's going on now. Later in the show, what are the best games in Texas this week as we hit the week number 8 of the season, but we're not done. We've got the story about Georgetown Eastview football coach Bill Robertson, a great story. Resilient story, a man that is a walking billboard, as his former coach at A&M Consolidated, Brandon Schmidt, said about what it's like to live his life and also watch how he has handled adversity, and one heck of a football coach. And now his first year at Eastview, coming up a massive win against Cedar Park this past week. That and more. Garrett Ross running the mothership, our sponsors, including Peters Chevrolet, and everyone else that's a part of this. This is 365 Sports and the Texas High School Football Statewide Podcast.
my go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoak's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
It's Bill Robertson, head coach at Eastview High School in the Georgetown ISD School District. And what a story he has to tell. And also we hope to tell you as well along the way. Bill, thank you very much for your time. Garrett, do we have that video from up in the press box at some point of the staff? Did you ever get that?
I didn't get that.
Okay, that's okay. There was a video posted of the Eastview coaching staff exploding, beat Cedar Park, which might be one of the biggest wins, if not the biggest win in program history. What was that moment like for the program for you, Bill?
And kind of, why I tweeted that out is obviously you're so excited for the kids, but now sitting in this chair, I was just so excited for our coaches, because I see obviously all the time and work that they put in going all the way back, before the season started. And so it was awesome to see them get, a little bit of that reward. And then tongue in cheek, at the end, I was like, you get 24 hours and then too bad, get your butt back up here. We got to get back to work.
Well, I love that. Isn't that along with watching young men, I'm talking football now, watching young men grow up and the light switches on. Maybe they haven't been playing well or they're not, and they get it, or a big win, or even in the tough losses, the emotions of the game itself is just something that's hard to explain.
Yeah. I tell people I have several friends that I've coached with that got out to sell insurance or, whatever. And I'll talk to them from time to time and I'll joke with them, like, hey, do you get butterflies when you close a big deal, and they're like, no. And I'm like, that's too bad. Cause every Friday night, man, I get butterflies. It's awesome. My job's awesome.
Well, it is. And it's fun to watch. Again, there's gut wrenching losses along the way too. You are right now 5-1. You've won 5 straight after the loss at Stony Point to open it up. And you have Georgetown coming up. I spoke with Jason Dean, the AD, and he was a former coach at Georgetown. He told me that Eastview back in 2014, when I asked him about the Cedar Park win, he shared some information on you too, but that year Eastview beat both Vandergrift and Georgetown, and he was the head coach at Georgetown, and that game's this week, and that was one of the better wins back many years ago too.
Yes. Yep. I was, I coached in the Austin area for 17 years. I remember that Eastview team. That's, they had just opened this school, and if memory serves, there was a group of kids kind of had an option to stay at Georgetown or go to Eastview, and a bunch of them banded together. I think one of them was, there's that, that viral video everybody's seen that, I think Zion Hester is like, I'm not going to lie, they had us in the first half. I think he was part of that crew, but yeah, they had a big year. I think they went 9-3 that year, something like that.
Bill, you were at Prosper with Brandon Schmidt. Then you were at A&M Consolidated with Brandon Schmidt, and he calls you a football coaching junkie. You have no hobbies, he said. You just love football. Is that true?
I would bristle at that a little bit, and I would say that's the pot calling the kettle black. But I love film. I love my favorite thing and I got the question from Brandon when I interview coaches. One of my questions I'll ask them is, "What's your favorite day of the week besides Friday?" Because everybody will say that, and I think that's such an interesting question. Mine is Saturday. I love Saturdays. I love getting in here and trying to break a team down and build the puzzle. I think that's a lot of fun, and then all week long, just grinding and watching as much film as you can to pick up just any little thing possible, any little tell. I think that's where the nitty gritty part of the game is. It's not just lining up and calling plays. I think that's the area that we're trying to grow and maybe seeing the most growth in with our kids, is getting them to understand that if you really want to be good, it takes what it takes. And what it takes is that it's like you're taking an AP class, and you got homework every night, and you got to watch a lot of film, and you've got to study, and you've got to be able to anticipate what's going to happen.
Yeah, I remember, again, it's been a long time ago, and it's weird because I can remember my senior year, which for me, I'm 66 years old, was in 1976 at Universal City Randolph. But going into the next day after a game, you knew if you passed the test or you barely got by or you had a heck of a nice grade, there's nothing more humbling than watching that film, right?
Right. And we've, man, and you probably aren't going to like this then, but we've kind of changed the way we operate. And this goes all the way back with Brandon, really, that we don't bring our kids up on Saturdays, because it just got to where I think, nowadays you have so many guys that are gone on college visits, and be it, legit or not, but they're gone on college visits. So your 5 best players aren't going to be there. To me, the most important thing you want to get done on that Saturday was your lift, and your top 20 players are sore, or got their hand stepped on or rolled an ankle, so they can't get a good lift in anyway. And then the coaches are all tired and mad. So that film session ain't all that productive sometimes. It's just people venting, and kids defending themselves. So we did away with it. We do that on Monday morning. And
okay.
We kind of tell our coaches, here's the deal, man. You got about 30, 40 minutes with your kids. If you want to spend that time rehashing what happened last week, have at it. I would caution you and feel like, last week's game plan has nothing to do with this week's game plan. if there's a skill or a certain thing you need to review from last week, sure. What we're going to try and do is look forward. What can we do to get them prepared for the next week?
Yeah, and plus the other change is that I was watching 8mm film.
Right. I can go back to VHS. That's as far as I can go. Yeah.
Oh my Lord. So in 2023, you're with Brandon Smoak. You're at Prosper.
Yes.
And he gets the job at A&M Consolidated.
Yep.
And he wants you and the offensive coordinator to join him. The offensive coordinator had a contract that maybe delayed his leaving. And then you had something a lot different than that. When you weren't feeling well during 2022, and your stomach was churning and literally, and a lot of things were going on. Can you take me back, if you don't mind, to when you went and was trying to find out what was going on with you?
Yeah. And it really, and this is why I share this story, and there's going to be people see this like, yeah, I've already heard this guy talk about this, but it's why I share this story so much, because really, the truth be told, I think that all started back in like 2021, that I was having abdominal pain, and it would come and go. It wasn't that big a deal, right? And just over time, over a 2-year time span, it just got worse and worse and worse. And it was our last season at Prosper. We're on a run that we make it all the way to the state semifinals before Duncanville stomps our face in. It was around Thanksgiving, right? So second, third round, whatever that was. It really it changed my bowel movements. Like it changed the way my body worked. And that's when I was like, something's up. I thought I probably had colitis or something.
Sure.
And I'd already gone to a doctor once, just a general practitioner, family doctor. They did a pelvic exam. They're like, no, you're fine. Because I was, 42, 43 at the time. And so then after the football season, we have some dear friends of ours, actually one night at our house. His wife, Courtney Chambly, who still lives in Prosper, she was like, you need to go see a doctor, like a real doctor. And she's like, you need to go to this DHAT. You need to go to this organization. So I scheduled a deal. I went in, same deal, pelvic exam. He's like, you're fine. You're too young. You might have some colitis. We'll do a CT scan. Got a CT scan done, and it was like our spring break, I think, in Prosper. Brandon had already taken the job in Consol. I was going down there to just get the sign of the cross from the principal and be the DC. And on our way down there, I got a phone call from the doctor, and they're like, hey, man, you need to come back. Like the CT scan, there's something not right. We need to actually go ahead and do a colonoscopy. So went down there, basically signed my contract in College Station, and then came back. And then I think it was a Friday morning, I got up and went and got a colonoscopy done. And when I woke up from the colonoscopy, my wife was just sobbing, crying next to the bed, And I'm like, what's the deal? And she goes, you have cancer. And so, right, that's when everything changed. And then the Dr. Loju, the doctor that performed the colonoscopy, came in and he said, listen, I'm not an oncologist, but I've done this a long time, and you have cancer. That's cancer. I know what I'm looking at. And they sent us to a surgical oncologist, and went and met with him on Monday. Dr. Jay Uraja in Richardson, Texas, saved my life. Went and met with him, and they were very matter of fact. This is what you're up against. We think it's probably stage 4 cancer. It's probably in other organs, just based upon the tumor itself and all these characteristics they look at, bud count and how differentiated the cells are, all this stuff. And then I had a more intensive CT scan, and they were like, well, somehow turns out it's stage 3. It's nowhere else. Wow. But it tried to spread. And they said not dramatically, like you were days, weeks, months away from this being stage 4. The tumor is actively trying to spread throughout your body right now. So 5 days later, so like a week from when this started, basically, I went in, had surgery. They removed about a foot of my colon, 30 lymph nodes, and part of my bladder. I had complications with surgery. It was supposed to be laparoscopic, like arthroscopic.
Sure.
It became a fully open procedure. When I woke up, I had 27 staples in my abdomen. I was in the hospital for 6 days, got released, went home for 1 day, got an infection. I became septic, got readmitted to the hospital. I was in the hospital another week after that. Then I got sent home with a wound vac. And I had to carry around this vacuum kind of thing for 6 weeks. And that, circling back to the deal about Brandon, football junkie, this is important that people know this too. College Station, the community there, the principal at that high school, Gwen Elder, the superintendent, everybody in that program, man, they stood by me from the beginning because, right, I hadn't signed a contract. There was no reason that they had to take me. And from the beginning, they're like, no, you're a Tiger, brother. You're with us. The booster club sent me care packages, sent stuff for my family, all that. And so, but they had to go through spring football and I couldn't be there. And so Brandon's like, well, whatever, we're doing it. And you're the DC, so figure it out. And so my routine was every morning I'd get up, I would make a cut up film that we had from Prosper, install part of our defense. I'd film a little video like this, a screencastify deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd send it down there to the coaches and the kids, and they would all get in the meeting room and watch this 20-minute video of me explaining this pressure or this coverage or whatever. Some guy they'd never met. They'd just watch a video of me. And then they'd go outside and the coaches were like, man, we did the best we could based on what you said. But I say that, man, because that got me through.
Yeah.
Because, it was the whole process of doing that probably took me 2-3 hours every morning. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know if you've ever known anybody go through, that deal. Your mind wanders. It goes into dark places.
No, you start. Yeah, you do. And I know that you were going through chemo and all that, and you were, and Prosper ISD, because of the insurance situation, kept you, right?
100%.
And wanted to bring that up too. I lost my oldest brother to prostate cancer. He caught it too late, didn't go in and get it checked. And then he was still able to go on another 5 or 6 years. And at times, like, I thought he was healthier than all of us. And then it hit him. Because it was all over the place when they checked him in 16 or 17. I had my prostate removed in 24. My capsule was intact. Everything's fine. A little bit of a change of life. But, yeah, you wonder. And I didn't have it. I was clear. My doctor did. Everything was clear. But I can't even. But one of the reasons he said, and I hope that, David, every night you're going to go to bed and you're going to wonder whether or not it's leaked out of the capsule of the prostate, or is it in, and you just, why take that chance? I'll just live with a little bit of a change of life. And so, but you had it full throttle. And just an amazing story. What was your lowest moment other than when you were told your wife after the colonoscopy, what was your lowest moment? Did you think you just would never coach again?
I know for sure. Week 2, we went up to Lufkin, John Outlaw Field, and it's, cool and historic, but let me tell you what it doesn't have is air conditioning. And when the chemotherapy regimen I was under, I couldn't have anything cold. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't drink it. It was an allergic reaction. It felt like fire. So, it was, that summer was so hot, right? It was like 150 degrees outside. We go to Lufkin, no air conditioning in the locker room. And I was laying underneath the stadium and my pulse was already so high because of the chemo, because you're being poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laying in the shade just trying to take a nap or something. And I just felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest. And I looked at my watch and my pulse was like 170 beats a minute.
Whoa.
And I stood up and I walked over to Brandon and I'm like, dude, I've got to get out of the heat. And we had brought charter buses up and I could see one of them was still running. I said, I'm going to go to that charter bus. And I started walking, and I made it about halfway across the field, brother, and everything started to, you know what I'm saying? The lights started to go out. And I mean, I was about to go down, and I mean, like two little guardian angels, Brandon Schmidt and Ray Kavanaugh, had walked up behind me, and they grabbed me, and they were like, "Come here," and they drugged me over to the indoor in Lufkin, and I just laid down on the tile for, I don't know, an hour, and kind of, I don't know, cooled off enough. My heart rate slowed down enough, but Brandon stationed a coach with me. And he said, if he passes out, call 911. So we sat there and made it out for kickoff. And that was freaking running back from Notre Dame, Love.
Yep.
Yeah. We couldn't stop him.
Yeah. No,
So,
a lot of people can't. I covered East Texas for almost 30 some years, still do in a lot of ways. I've been to that stadium, Abe Martin Stadium, John Outlaw, of course. We lost him right after COVID. No, after the Hurricane Katrina, he was running around the neighborhood. He was in great shape. He was a grouchy old dude, man. I love that guy though. Yep. But yeah, I've been in that stadium when it's pouring down rain or it's like you said, 95 degrees and all those trees, pine trees.
Yeah.
Oh,
No wind.
No, it's like a sauna bath. It is.
Yeah.
And two good programs with A&M Consolidated and also with Lufkin. Yeah, stadium manager, in fact, Brandon told me, tried to make sure that there was a door open to get you inside.
Yeah,
which is,
he was awesome. And that guy, who I don't really know, but he was an ex-Consol Tiger.
There you go.
So, yeah, the Lord finds a way, man.
So what was it about your game plan when you went to interview for the Eastview job that impressed Mr. Dean and also the coaching search, the committee? Because I was told what your energy and your enthusiasm, which we can see now, just jumped off the charts. And one quote was, he was so fired up and energetic, I thought he could have gone and played linebacker for the Cowboys at that particular moment.
Yeah, they could have maybe used me. I'd interviewed for head jobs before. And you kind of know what all the questions are going to be. What's the role of the athletic coordinator? It's more than just football. What's your relationship with the assistant coordinator? How you going to deal with the booster club? How you going to deal with the parents? All that stuff. So I was prepared. I had a little presentation ready to go. And it's always, like I said, it's always the same questions. So I had a presentation, table of contents, had chapters, the whole thing. And they had a table set up, and they were going around the table asking questions. And the first question they asked was the first chapter I had. Second question they asked was the second one. Third question, Coach Dean's question, was the third one. And he sat up and he goes, listen, why don't we just all put these pamphlets, these questions away? Coach Robertson, just go through your presentation. And I was like, okay. So I just took over the interview, went through my presentation. And then somewhere along in there, he goes, hey, man, you've hit the first 8 questions in a row. Who gave you our interview questions? And I said, well, nobody gave them to me. Maybe a better question is, who did you get your interview questions from?
Wow.
So, yeah. But I mean, it's always the same stuff, right? So I guess what I would like to believe is that maybe what was different versus the other times that I had done it is I felt like after everything my family and I had been through, that we had kind of refocused what the goal was. And I tell people that I wanted to be a head coach for a long time, and I think I wanted to do it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to do it because it was an ego deal, and I wanted to check that box. And I wanted my wife to be able to put on Facebook that her husband was a head coach, so all her high school classmates could know that, my heart went in the right spot. And so after going through what we went through, I think it kind of shook me up enough and woke me up that that's not why you need to be a head football coach. If you're going to do it, you need to do it because you want to impact people. You want to impact young men. You want to impact the coaches on your staff. You want to try and build something special in the community. And so I think that's maybe what came across in that interview that had not come across, in other opportunities I'd had.
There's a coach that and I've brought him up, and Brandon has talked to his kids. When you were coaching, you never missed practice. You were going through all of the things. When you think you feel bad, then look at Coach Robertson. and know what he's battled through. A walking, talking billboard as an example. He says you don't like it when he says that, but makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, he would. That year he would, practice would end, man, and I would just be, falling out over there, and he would be, going off on something. He'd be like, everybody just look at Coach Robertson. I'm like, man, you got to stop saying that because I don't want him to look at me. I'm over here half asleep, But no, that's why that's my dude. Like, that's one of my best friends, and he's, a role model to me. I talk to him once every other week or two. He's an underrated, unbelievable head coach. All he ever says is, well, I'm just an O-line coach. And that's the biggest crock in the world. I don't know how many men can say that they've had two programs in the fourth or fifth round of the playoffs in two totally different parts of the state, two totally different socioeconomic makeup of kids, talking about Prosper versus Consol, and he's a Lamar guy. He's a great football coach. And I don't think that gets said enough about Brandon. And I don't think I would be where I'm at if it wasn't for him professionally and, what he did for me during that time.
Are you the best coach in your family?
No, thanks. Make sure I answered that one right. No, my wife's the best female coach I've ever been around. And she was kind of my boss. She was the women's coordinator. So she was kind of my boss at Stony Point. So I was smart. No, she's phenomenal. And it's a deal that when we started to have kids and have a family, we had a team meeting. And she was like, I want to be the one to take a step back. And I want to be more of a mom than a coach. I want to be here for the kids. I want to be at their baseball games. But that could have gone the other way. She was a head softball coach and a women's coordinator, and I was an assistant coach at Stony Point. So, no, she's a killer.
Yeah, I was told that she was very successful, obviously. Your daughter is senior and your son's in junior high. Is that correct?
Man, you did your homework. Yeah, my daughter's a senior here. She had a big vote, and if we moved or not either, I moved her senior year. And it was up to her. And she was like, heck yeah, you only live once, Dad. Let's go. And so she's a senior here at Eastview. She's awesome, high academic gal, going to change the world, gives us hope that we're doing good as parents. And then my son, he's a work in progress, and so that's where we're like, maybe we're not as good of parents as we think we are. No, but he's in 7th grade, getting to play tackle football for the first time. Got a game tonight against somebody. He's against Benold. I'll be at that game tonight. I've seen more middle school football this year than I have in the rest of my life combined.
With her senior year and transferring, as you said, I was a military brat, and I had to leave before my senior year. We left from what was Yokota High School in Japan. My dad was stationed in Japan for 4 years, so I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. And right before my senior year, we came back to San Antonio, Randolph Air Force Base, and I enrolled there. That can be different. I mean, it can be. We did that though, like right before 3rd grade and 7th grade, whatever. So that can be pretty different.
Yeah, my wife was an Air Force brat, so same thing. Matter of fact, I think she went to that same school that you went to. Was your dad in the Air Force? Yeah,
my dad. Well, he was a Naval Academy graduate, and then after about a few months in it, he was on a ship, like a Naval Academy officer. And his commanding officer said, I don't know if this is going to be, not that he wasn't really good, but my dad was a family man. I mean, he was the ultimate family man. And so he said, you do have the option if you want to for what you do to get into the Air Force. So he did. So I lived in Nebraska, Guam, Arizona, and then the Pentagon. My dad was there. Then we were at San Antonio, then Japan. It was Yokota Air Force Base. In Japan. And I'm telling you, my 4 years in Japan, Bill, the favorite 4 years as far as I can remember, because that was before any internet, it was like living the culture, although we lived on the base. I loved those 4 years, 8th grade through my junior year. But let me know, text me and when you find out what school she may have gone to. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So you have the game. You had this huge win, and now you have Georgetown. How has the practices this week been locked and loaded, as you said, 24-hour rule, and now you have to get ready for this one?
You know, I thought our kids have had 2 good days. I really do. And I think generally the practices have gotten better, but especially defensively, like they trying to get them to make checks and recognize formations and get us in the best front and coverage possible. They've done a good job. Now, that said, I've been pounding this message home that I don't care what anybody says. It's just another district ball game. Like it's, you know, if we play Georgetown in the 4th round, that's different. But this is just a district ball game. The reason this one's important is because it's the game we have this week. The reason this one's important is because we have 3 district wins, and if we get a 4th one, you would assume you make the playoffs.
Yep.
That's why this one's important. The reason this one's important is it gives us another opportunity to play what we think is a playoff team. And if we think we're a playoff team, there's 63 other playoff teams. We just played Cedar Park and we beat them, so we think we can beat that playoff team. Let's see if we can beat this one too. That's why this is important. I've really tried to caution our kids, you know, because we saw that in Prosper the first couple of times we played Allen. And we saw that in College Station the first time we played College Station, that when you try and build it up into something bigger than it is, they're teenage boys, and already their emotions are all over the place. And if you allow them to get spun up, right, if something bad happens, they may not respond to it real well. So we've tried to really just settle them in. What's gotten us to this point is that we've worried about Eastview every week and what we need to get better at. And there's plenty we need to still get better at. And that's what we need to worry about. We need to worry about Eastview. We need to try to get better at the things we do and quit doing the things that we aren't any good at. And so that's kind of been our challenge.
Well, it's a great story, and proud of what you represent and also what you're doing as a football coach. And then, of course, the resiliency that a lot of people could learn from when they think they're having a bad day. And they probably are having a bad day, but also with how you were able to grind through that. That's just a great story. Thank you very much for your time. And, again, I was so impressed when Brandon sent me a note about you. He didn't say much until I got him on the phone. Then he started just like, you know, he was going to give you up. I mean, there's no question about it. But I'm glad everything is okay. And you're getting you're getting on and getting healthier every single day. And good luck to you in this weekend's game, but also throughout the rest of your career.
Well, and thank you for what you do for high school football in the state of Texas. You guys are awesome. And everybody, make sure you check your colon. See, we got.
You're right. I've had 2 or 3 of them at my age and everything. Yeah, a polyp or 2, but nothing severe. So you're exactly right.
Best nap you'll ever take.
Yep, PSA check, colonoscopies, all of that.
Yes,
Bill Robertson, head coach at Eastview in Georgetown, with us on the statewide high school football podcast.
My go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a T-fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoak's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
I start every week with what I think, and again, doesn't mean I'm the one that I'm picking it. Just my opinion on some of the better wins from programs. Sometimes maybe even off the radar type stuff where you don't hear much about a team or a program or a win. But then we also end every week with the best games coming up based on Pigskin Prep. And I do this, thank you to Bubba 33. Bubba's 33 throughout Texas. You have a number on the left. You see Jerry's picks at the top. You have a number all the way to the right, and it's the ranked totals. And that means whatever schools that I have listed in these games that I choose from Jerry Forrest every week on his website, pigskinprep.com. It's fantastic. They rank everybody. I mean, from schools that aren't even attached to any kind of a league in 6-man, private, public, UIL. It's unbelievable what he does every week. And so the number on the left is the favorite by a certain amount of points based on the index. The one on the right, the combination of the 2 ranked schools and what that number. The lower the number, the better the game, including Liberty Christian, Argyle, and Parish Episcopal. Liberty Christian beat Parish Episcopal last year twice, including the state championship game. Parish Episcopal 6-1, Liberty Christian 4-2. Jerry has them. Parish Episcopal is a 3-point favorite. That's number 1 against number 2, 11-man in the UIL. Columbus won the state championship last year against Yoakum. It's a great one. Columbus 4-2, but a 6-point pick to beat Yoakum. Kilgore and Lindale. Lindale, you hear about Carthage, you hear about Kilgore, you hear about Chapel Hill, you hear about Gilmer. I'm talking about in 4A. But Lindale and Chris Cochran, they do a good job, year in and year out. Kilgore, a slight favorite at 4-point pick against Lindale. They beat Lindale last year 42-21. Carthage just rolled along 49-7. They beat Athens. I put this game up. Carthage is a heavy favorite. You see the number 27. Athens doing a really good job. They had a win against Conley a couple of weeks ago. They're really good. But again, Carthage has been great. Bremond, Jeff Kozowski in Goldthwaite. This ought to be a one. Good Coach Howard out in Goldthwaite. Last year, Bremond, 75-47, 6-0, a 2-point pick. Walnut Grove, You know who's there? I think it's Tommy Allison, the former Robinson coach and Cayuga coach, and also was at Jacksboro. And they're favored by over Anna. Anna won that game last year by 14. Sinton and Cuero, really good records here. 6-1, 6-0. Sinton, the 2-point pick. They won last year. Frankston, Paul Gould is the head coach. He's done a heck of a job. They're a 7-point pick against Kearns in that game. Bay City, I always remember the great teams that they had back when they first started. And then they kind of they just kind of were there. And now they're playing well again. Lavernia, a 5-point pick in that game. Lake Travis and Dripping Springs, 6-0, 7-0. Dripping Springs, a team I played, a long time ago in 1976 when I was at Universal City Randolph. We won that game. I think it was 36-7. I can remember 76. I can't remember yesterday. But that's unbeaten teams in 5A. Franklin, they had 600-plus rushing yards again last week. They're playing Academy. This could be kind of a tough game, but Franklin, of course, their schedule's fantastic. Tycoon, the head coach at Academy. Dangerfield, a 4-point favorite against Hooks. Dangerfield, Parker, the quarterback's putting up huge numbers. Hooks is very good. Paris and Sulphur Springs, 14-point pick for Sulphur Springs. A 28-14 win last year. Poth, 55-7 over Stockdale a year ago, and they're favored by 15. And then Wink, right? Wink and Ira Ann in a game where Wink at 4-2 and 4-2. Ira Ann Wink is a 12-point pick, won by 13 last year. Jerry Forrest, pigskinprep.com. Man, I tell you what, he's a fantastic guy, loves high school football, and spends countless hours like coaches do, but countless hours updating his index and ranking teams and putting together historical stuff. It's unbelievable with pigskinprep.com. When we come back, of course, it will be week 9 next week. We'll feature the best wins, the best games. We'll feature a program, a coach, a player, a tradition, and history. And again, thanks to Garrett Ross and our great sponsors at Peters Chevrolet and Longview and more. I'm David Smoak. Enjoy week number 8 of the Texas high school football season.